On our 6th anniversary, Landon finally agreed to go with me to Paris. On the day of our departure, I waited for him at the airport for a full hour, only to receive a single message from him. "Naomi, something urgent came up at the company. Go ahead without me." In the early morning, as I landed in Paris, I saw a photo posted by Chloe. What does it feel like to be held in the palm of someone's hand? In the photo, 2 hands were intertwined. On one of them was the couple's ring that belonged to Landon and me. I chuckled softly and commented, "Wow, a match made in heaven. Wish you two together forever." "Haven't you always wanted to go to Paris? This time I'll definitely accompany you properly." That's what Landon told me when booking the tickets. I excitedly planned the itinerary, fantasizing about us visiting the Louvre, embracing under the Eiffel Tower, and strolling hand in hand along the Seine, surrounded by white doves. When he left me at the airport, I didn't doubt him for a second, until I saw Chloe's WeChat moment, saw that familiar couple's ring, and that sentence, "What does it feel like to be held in the palm of someone's hand?" I finally couldn't hold back and called Landon, getting into a huge argument with him. Over the phone, his tone was still faint, devoid of any emotion. "Can you stop making a scene? How many times do I have to say it? Chloe and I are really just friends." The next day, I went to a restaurant and found the most handsome French waiter to be my guide. For €1,000, he took me around Paris for 10 days and helped me take photos. On the last day, I posted a 9-grid photo set on my Moments, including one of us clinking coffee cups, coffee on the left bank of the Seine. Less than 2 minutes after posting, I received a call from Landon. His first sentence was, "Who is this man?" Before I could answer, his second sentence came rushed and urgent. "Where is the couple's ring on your hand?" He was anxious. We had been together for 6 years, and Landon had never had such a sense of crisis. He seemed to take it for granted that I would never leave him. Every time we fought, his avoidance, silent treatment, or even blocking and deleting me were commonplace. For so many years, he had always been so reckless, doing whatever he pleased, but he didn't know that during these 10 days in Paris, I had reevaluated our relationship. If it were before, hearing him ask me with such concern, I would have been very happy and excited. But now, there was no ripple in my heart. I only replied with 2 sentences. "My French isn't good. He's the guide I found in Paris." I accidentally lost the ring while feeding pigeons by the Seine. There was silence on the other end of the phone. After a long time, I heard his deep voice, "I'll pick you up at the airport tomorrow." I replied with a simple, "Okay," hung up, turned off my phone, and continued to enjoy my coffee and the riverside scenery. At 7 p.m. after landing, I walked out of the exit in high heels, dragging 2 large suitcases. He booked the ticket. Without me saying anything, he knew when I would arrive. But by 8 p.m., I still hadn't seen Landon. No calls, no messages, nothing. At 8:30, I stopped waiting and dragged my suitcases to the taxi stand. There were many people during the evening rush hour. I waited in line for 2 hours before getting into a car. When I got home, it was already past 11 p.m. When getting out, the taxi driver asked me, "Miss, you're wearing high heels and the boxes are so heavy. It might be hard for you alone. Let me help you into the complex." I thought for a moment and replied, "Thank you, sir, but no need to trouble you. I can manage alone." Along the way, I stopped to rest, gasping for breath, and finally dragged the boxes into the elevator. But as I stepped into the elevator, my heel accidentally got stuck in the gap. I twisted my ankle. Along with the sharp pain came the sound of a message notification on my phone. "Sister, have you thought about it? Do you want to listen to Mom and Dad and go abroad for further studies?" The message was from my older sister. I studied fine arts. Since graduating from college, my family had always hoped I would go abroad for further studies. If I went, I would definitely find a job 10 times better than my current one upon returning. I made excuses saying I couldn't take care of myself living alone, but they all knew it was just an excuse. I didn't want to go because I couldn't let go of Landon. Soon, my sister sent another message. "Just for 2 years. Besides, I plan to go abroad recently, too. Wherever you want to go, I can go with you. 2 years, not too long, not too short. Landon and I got together in our freshman year. 4 years of college, 2 years after graduation. For 6 whole years, I stayed by his side. On graduation day, the Fine Arts Department held an exhibition titled Future. Students drew their expectations for the future, either becoming great artists or traveling the world seeing all the beautiful sights. What I drew was just Landon and me. For 6 years, he had always been in the future I looked forward to, but he couldn't even pick me up from the airport at night. Ridiculous, pathetic, pitiful. The moment the elevator doors closed, intense pain shot through my ankle. I pressed send. Sister, I want to study in Paris. Back home, after a hot bath, I immediately turned on my computer. I registered for next month's overseas study exam, then casually picked up the French textbook on the table. I had originally prepared this book for the trip to Paris. At that time, Landon said I was doing unnecessary work. His French was decent, at least enough for daily communication while traveling with me. French is really hard to learn, so I didn't continue reading it back then. But this night, I read until late at night, falling asleep on the table in a daze. Naomi? Naomi? Landon's voice rang in my ears. I opened my eyes and saw him coming home smelling of alcohol. I rubbed my eyes and said, "You're back. It's so late. Go to sleep." With that, I got up to walk to my room. "Naomi, you—" Landon's low voice came from behind. I turned around. Under the pale light, he frowned, looking hesitant as if wanting to say something but stopping. I guessed he must want to ask why I didn't question who he was drinking with or why he didn't pick me up like I used to, then start suspecting his relationship with Chloe, arguing and throwing a tantrum. "Naomi, when did you get back? Why didn't you answer my calls?" he asked. I looked at my phone and saw he indeed called a few times, but it was already past 1 a.m. I was reading the French book then, and my phone was on silent. Chloe had an episode just now. She smashed wine bottles at home and tried to hurt herself, so I went to— I responded softly, interrupting his explanation. Just as I turned to walk to the bedroom, he grabbed me. "Naomi, don't be mad. She and I really didn't—" "Landon, I'm not mad." I rubbed my eyes, my voice devoid of emotion, interrupting him again. "It's too late. I'm a bit tired and want to sleep. You should sleep too." With that, I moved my arm, signaling him to let go. "Naomi, can you stop making a scene?" He didn't let go, but looked straight into my eyes, his tone clearly annoyed. I looked puzzled and yawned. "What's wrong? I'm really sleepy. Let's talk tomorrow." He stared at me, moving his lips but saying nothing. After a long while, the expression on his face grew more annoyed, and he finally released my hand. I turned around and walked into the bedroom without looking back. Bang. The moment I lay down, I heard him slam the door and leave. The door slammed heavily and deliberately, as if intended for me to hear, but I paid no attention and gently closed my eyes. That night, I slept very soundly. Waking up the next day, Landon had bought breakfast, and there was an exquisite box on the table. "Happy 6th anniversary, Naomi." He opened the box. Inside was a pair of brand new couple's rings. "The day you went to France, I got a call saying Chloe ran away from the hospital. Her mental state is unstable. You know that. So I went to find her. Last night, she suddenly had an episode at home too. That's why I—" Before Landon could finish, I smiled lightly and looked at the breakfast on the table. "It's okay. Eat quickly." I sat on the chair, picked up a sandwich, and took big bites. He held the ring, looking at me deeply. "Naomi, since the ring is lost, let's change to a new one." I still remember on our first anniversary, he gave me that pair of couple's rings. "Landon, I will never take off this ring in my life." Back then, I excitedly hugged him, immediately put the ring on my hand, eyes brimming with tears. But this time, I hesitated for a few seconds, then smiled and took the ring. "Okay, thank you, Landon." Putting the ring aside, I continued eating breakfast. He looked hesitant, his eyes searching and puzzled. "Naomi, are you still angry?" I smiled faintly and said seriously, "Why would I be angry? You and Chloe are childhood sweethearts, like siblings. Isn't it right for a brother to take care of his sister?" His gaze trembled, looking at me with complex emotions, then at the ring by my hand. "Then you?" I glanced sideways nonchalantly, blinked, and smiled. "Oh, I'll put it on right now." The ring was slightly loose. Perhaps I had lost a lot of weight over these years, and he hadn't noticed. Seeing me put it on, he finally relaxed his expression and smiled at me. "Naomi, come back with me tonight to have dinner with Mom and Dad." Hearing this, I looked up in surprise, staring at him. 3 years ago, I met Landon's parents for the first time. Before going, I prepared meticulously for a long time, spending days choosing gifts. The moment I entered with bags big and small, I saw Chloe chatting with his parents. "What are you talking about? So lively." He walked over smiling. Chloe smiled coquettishly, tilting her head. "Talking about your embarrassing childhood stories, Brother Landon." I stood at the door, at a loss. After being awkward for a long time, the nanny finally welcomed me in. After that time, Landon always found excuses and never took me home again. I vaguely felt his parents didn't like me. In the past, when he said he wanted to take me home, I would have been speechless with joy. But now I just shook my head gently. "Not tonight, I have things to do." "Company business?" Actually, it was about the study abroad exam, but I didn't tell him. I just nodded, defaulting to overtime. "I can wait for you to get off work. We'll just go back a bit later." "No need next time." My calm voice fell, and Landon froze instantly, his brows furrowed tightly. "But I already told Mom and Dad." I wiped my mouth and got up to go into the room to pack things. "Sorry, I really don't have time tonight. Computer, French book, file bag." I checked each one carefully and packed them. A while later, his cold voice rang out. "Fine, then I'll ask Chloe to go back with me." With a bang, he slammed the door and left. I didn't even look up, continuing with the task at hand. Because of my studies, I went to the company and handed in my resignation letter. "This is a good thing, but you have to finish handing over your work before leaving. Come, let me treat you to a meal." My supervisor, Ms. Zhao, always appreciated me. At her invitation, we went to a restaurant. While waiting for the food, I scrolled through Moments and saw a new update from Chloe. In the photo, Chloe sat next to Landon, with his parents beside them. The four of them were beaming. Caption: "Family dinner is just happy." There was a familiar profile picture in the likes below. It was Landon, who never posted updates or checked Moments. He was like this in the past. Whenever we fought because of Chloe, he would go like her posts. This time, I didn't get angrier like before. I moved my finger and gave it a like. "I specially brought you to this French restaurant. Try it, is it good?" Ms. Zhao forked a piece of foie gras for me. I put it in my mouth, nodded, and agreed to go karaoke with her later. Ms. Zhao asked teasingly, "Going home late? Not afraid your man will scold you?" I shook my head, turned off my phone, and smiled. "Then I won't go home." Waking up the next day, I turned on my phone in the hotel and saw several unread messages from Landon. "Why is your phone off? Where are you?" "It's so late. Why aren't you back yet?" In the past, these were messages I sent to ask him. Every time he was called away by Chloe and didn't want me bothering him, he would just turn off his phone. No matter how late he came home, no matter how angry I would wait for him at home. I thought for a moment and replied, "The company is very busy lately. I won't be coming back for a few days." It took a long time before he sent another message. Okay. For the next few days, I was busy with going abroad and didn't go home. Until this day, while I was doing homework at an art exhibition, I received a message from Landon. "When are you done? I'll pick you up to go home." I thought about it and agreed, sending him my location. At 5 p.m., I walked out of the exhibition building and saw Landon's black sedan parked by the road. "Did your company move?" He rolled down the window, somewhat puzzled. "No. I came to see an art exhibition. In the past, I wanted to ask him to accompany me to art exhibitions many times. He was usually busy with work, and when he finally had time off, he was always called away by Chloe for various reasons. When I was unhappy, he would say impatiently, "Chloe is sick. Can't you be understanding? Art exhibitions are just pastimes. You can go by yourself. Besides, I really don't understand those paintings." He didn't know. Every time I asked him to go to an exhibition, it was because my work was displayed there. It wasn't a boring pastime. I wanted to share my joy and sense of achievement with him. But after being rejected time and time again, I never asked him to accompany me to an art exhibition again. I walked quickly to the passenger seat. Just as I was about to open the door, Landon called me, "Naomi!" He paused, looking at the exhibition hall by the road. "How about we go in and look around?" I shook my head. Before I got in the car, Landon opened the driver's door and walked towards me. His face darkened, asking me, "Why? You don't want to go?" I smiled lightly and said, "I've already finished looking. Let's go." As I was about to get in the car, he suddenly grabbed my hand. His expression was complex, hesitation mixed with a hint of guilt. "But I've never been to an art exhibition. I want to see." I was stunned, then smiled. "Okay, let's go." In the spacious exhibition hall, Landon and I walked side by side. His gaze moved to a painting on display, and he paused. "Naomi, what style is this painting?" It was rare for him to be interested in my major. He rarely looked seriously at the works I painted. Even the painting Future I did for graduation. He only looked at once before putting it away. I looked up and answered softly, "This painting is in the Surrealist style. It's by the French painter Marcel." Ring, ring. Before I could finish, Landon's phone rang. The caller ID displayed Chloe. It rang twice before he pressed reject, put the phone in his pocket, and continued looking at the painting. The next second, the ring sounded again. He took out his phone and hesitated for a moment. I took it, pressed answer, and turned on speaker. Chloe's delicate and aggrieved voice came from the other end. "Brother Landon, my head hurts so much, my chest feels tight, and my vision is blurry. I feel so unwell. I want to go to the hospital. Can you come pick me up?" I looked up at Landon. He frowned. "I'll ask my assistant to pick you up." Chloe on the phone immediately got agitated, her voice sobbing. "No, Brother Landon, you know only when you come can I calm down and cooperate with the treatment. I'm really scared. I'm afraid I'll lose control and hurt myself again." A look of difficulty appeared on Landon's face. He was silent, looking at me, his lips trembling, wanting to say something. Of course I knew. He wanted to go. Just like every time before, as long as Chloe called, he would drop everything and run over. As long as I was unhappy about it, he would impatiently defend himself or even accuse me. "We grew up together. Chloe is sick. What's wrong with me taking care of her?" How many times have I told you there's really nothing between her and me? "Naomi, can you have some compassion? Chloe is already pitiful enough. Why are you angry with her? Can you be sensible? Don't make trouble out of nothing." Once we fought badly. I got angry and packed my things to run away from home. For a whole month, I didn't go home. He didn't call or message once. After the Cold War, I was the one who lowered my head and went to him first. "It's okay. Go ahead. I'll go back by myself later." And I was about to turn and walk out when he came up from behind and pulled me. "I'll take you back first." I smiled and shook my head. "It's okay. Hurry and take her to the hospital. I happen to need to go to the import supermarket next door to buy some groceries." He looked stunned, hesitating, and whispered, "Then I'll come back after I'm done and we'll eat together." I thought for a moment and nodded. "Okay, I'm going to buy groceries then." Just a few steps away, his deep voice came from behind. "Naomi, I'm sorry." I didn't look back, walking out on my own, smiling. "It's okay, go quickly." At 7 p.m., I finished making dinner. French dishes I recently learned: pan-seared foie gras, niçoise salad, vegetable beef soup. Landon hadn't returned yet. I didn't wait bitterly for him like in the past. Instead, I picked up my cutlery and enjoyed dinner. The texture of the foie gras isn't quite right yet, but the beef soup is getting there. At 8 p.m., I finished eating and started reading my French book. When I got tired of reading, I took out my phone and scrolled through Moments. In the past, every time Chloe called Landon over, she would post updates related to him. Tonight, for some reason, she didn't post a single one. At 10 p.m., the food left for him was cold, so I put it in the fridge. Then I turned on my computer and looked up information about the Paris College of Art. After organizing the information and taking notes, it was already early morning. I still wasn't quite done, so I found a French movie to watch to practice listening. When I went to sleep after the movie, I remembered Landon. I suddenly realized that for the entire night, I hadn't thought of him once. Devoting myself entirely to what interested me was so happy and fulfilling. Waking up the next day, Landon still hadn't returned. Ms. Zhao's message was on my phone. Naomi, come to the company to hand over the final work. I replied okay and hurried to the company. In the afternoon, while I was busy with work, I received a call from Landon. "Why didn't you reply to my messages?" His anxious voice came from the other end. I was stunned before seeing the few messages he sent in the morning. "Busy working. What's up?" My tone was flat and I didn't stop working. He was silent for a moment, then said, "Last night, Chloe was very emotionally unstable. I was afraid she would have another episode alone, so I smiled. "It's okay. I'm not angry. You don't need to explain." He was silent again. After a long time, he asked me in a tone of disbelief, "Naomi, are you really not angry?" I heard an inexplicable disappointment in his words. He seemed to want to see me angry, to see me hysterically fighting with him, but I really didn't have any emotional fluctuations. I'm really not angry. I understand." At this moment, Ms. Zhao beside me signaled me with her eyes. I nodded at her and said to the phone, "Landon, anything else? I'm a bit busy now." His urgent voice came from the phone. "I'll pick you up tonight. Let's go for a walk by the river." Hearing walk, I was instantly stunned. In 6 years together, we rarely went on dates, let alone walking by the river, enjoying the evening breeze. But every time after soothing Chloe, he would accompany her to various places in the city for walks and fun. His explanation to me was, "Chloe is a patient. Walking outside more is good for her condition." I was upset and always told him aggrievedly, "But sometimes when I have high work pressure, I want to go for a walk and talk with you too." He would always rub his forehead and look at me helplessly. "If you have high work pressure, you can go out with your colleagues." Now I felt he was right. So I replied faintly to him on the phone, "No thanks, I'm going to a bar with colleagues tonight." Soon he asked deeply, "You're going drinking?" Last year, Chloe called him to her house to drink. I waited all night until early morning when I saw Chloe's post. Someone looks so cute when drunk. In the photo, his face was flushed, leaning in Chloe's arms with glazed eyes. He didn't return all night. The next day, I had a huge fight with him, questioning him with the photo. I did get drunk last night, but there's really nothing between us, and we didn't sleep together. Our families have been friends for generations. We grew up fighting and playing. She was in a bad mood, so I just drank with her. What's wrong with that? Isn't it normal? He thought it was normal to drink outside and lean in another woman's arms. So I told him, "Yeah, going to a bar is for drinking, of course." He was silent for a long time on the other end before saying in a low voice, "Fine. Drink less. Don't get drunk." Got it. That night, colleagues threw a farewell party for me. Partying at the bar until past 12 a.m., the group walked out unsatisfied, calling to go to the next venue. I nodded smilingly until Ms. Zhao's voice rang in my ear. "Naomi, isn't that your Landon?" Following Ms. Zhao's gaze, I saw Landon standing in front of the black sedan. Oh, always heard Naomi talk about him. First time seeing him in person. He is handsome. No wonder Naomi is devoted to him and won't even look at us. Hey, let's go. Let's go to the next round. Don't delay the couple. Colleagues teased. If it were the old me, I would have been shy and proud. Back then, I wished the whole world knew how much I liked Landon. But now I only felt awkward and at a loss. After the colleagues dispersed, I walked up slowly. Naomi, are you drunk? He asked concernedly. I shook my head, using the alcohol as an excuse to shake off his hand trying to hold mine. Opening the door to get in, he held the steering wheel, looking full of disappointment. Did you forget what day it is today? I was stunned, thinking for a moment, only knowing today was my official resignation day. Then I heard his low, hoarse voice, Today is my birthday. I quickly took advantage of the drunkenness, looking confused and apologetic. I'm sorry, Landon. Look at me. Once I drink, I forget everything. Actually, I wasn't drunk and I forgot nothing. I still remember his last birthday. I booked a private room at a restaurant in advance and decorated it carefully. Flowers, gifts, and a cake I made myself. The cake was based on my painting, with the two of us drawn in cream. I also invited our best friends, his and mine. Everyone watched us walk this path from college until now. Scheduled for 8 p.m., but by 12 a.m., past the candle-blowing time, he still hadn't come. Friends were awkward and didn't know what to do. I had to call, only to hear his impatient voice. Didn't I say I'd come eat with you after I'm done? My heart trembled. Landon, did you forget what day it is? Today? Oh, it's my birthday. I just remembered. My tears couldn't be held back, but I tried to stay calm and asked him, So, where are you now? I'm at the company. Before he finished, a charming female voice came from the other end. Brother Landon, come quick. The premiere is starting. I've been looking forward to this movie for so long. Coming, Chloe. He responded softly to Chloe, then deepened his voice and said impatiently to me, All right, I never celebrate birthdays. It's late. Go home and sleep. The phone was on speaker. After he hung up, the private room was silent. After a long time, I finally couldn't hold it back, tears falling onto the cake one by one. The image of the two people blurred bit by bit, becoming unrecognizable. Naomi, did you really forget? Landon's eyes were red and his hands on the steering wheel were trembling. I sighed lightly, looking at him with feigned guilt. I'm sorry. I really forgot. Besides, don't you never celebrate birthdays? His gaze suddenly trembled, a strange emotion flashing through his eyes. I grinned. It's okay. If you want to celebrate, I'll make it up to you when we get home. With that, I leaned my head on the seat, pretending to sleep. I'll nap a bit to sober up. Wake me when we're home. It took a while before the car started and drove forward. Along the way, Landon remained silent, not saying a word. The car radio played Escaping from the Tiger's Mouth, and it started to drizzle in the city. Every moment of loving you like a speeding subway. I didn't understand this lyric before, but now I heard the sadness in it. In the drizzle, the neon lights outside the window became blurred shadows, and my past with Landon flashed before my eyes frame by frame. It's almost over, right? I thought so, but still chose not to tell him on his birthday. Since the beginning was beautiful, the end should also be clean and dignified, owing nothing. Arriving home, walking into the elevator, looking at the gap under my feet, I spaced out slightly. Naomi? Landon called me from beside me. I snapped back and smiled. Nothing, wondering what to cook. At the door, as soon as it opened, a figure suddenly popped out from inside and rushed into Landon's arms. Brother Landon, happy birthday! Chloe's delicate voice came. Landon was somewhat at a loss, raising his hands while looking at me in panic. Oh my, sister-in-law is here too! A moment later, Chloe looked at me meaningfully. Saying this, she still leaned entirely in Landon's arms. Come in. Let's celebrate Landon's birthday together. I smiled lightly, ignoring the two of them, and walked straight to the kitchen. Naomi, aren't you drunk? I'll help you. Landon's voice came from behind. While washing vegetables, I said faintly, "We have a guest. Shouldn't you keep her company?" After saying it, I felt it might make him misunderstand I was jealous, so I quickly turned around and smiled. "Landon, I'm not drunk, don't worry." His lips trembled, about to say something, when Chloe walked up from behind and put her arm on his shoulder. "Brother Landon, don't you want to see the gift I prepared for you?" With that, Chloe glanced at me and smirked. Provocation, showing off, or whatever, I didn't care anymore. I smiled back at her, turned around, and continued busying myself. Landon gave Chloe the house key. He said if there was an emergency, she could come any time. Several times before, when she ran over suddenly, I never gave her a good face. But this time, from seeing her to serving the dishes, I had a faint smile on my face the whole time. At the dinner table, Chloe sat next to Landon, holding his arm affectionately. "Chloe, go sit opposite." He spoke in a low voice while I picked up my cutlery and smiled. "No need. It's eating all the same wherever." I made French food again today. After several attempts, I had improved significantly. Chloe tasted the foie gras, suddenly frowned, and glanced at me. "Sister-in-law, this foie gras is so fishy. Did you forget to remove the smell?" "You can use red wine to remove the smell. I have a bottle at home. Last time Brother Landon came, he said it tasted excellent. I'll ask him to bring it to you another day. Remember to use red wine next time." "Enough. Eat properly." Landon spoke abruptly, then forked a piece of foie gras into his mouth. Tastes good. "Naomi, why do you like cooking French food lately?" Before I could speak, Chloe chuckled and interrupted. "Speaking of French food, Racine in Paris is the best. When Brother Landon and I went to Paris, we went to that restaurant." My hand holding the spoon trembled slightly. "Have you been to Paris?" Chloe nodded, looking delicately at Landon beside her. "Yes, Paris is the city of romance. Which couple doesn't want to embrace under the Eiffel Tower? Back then, Brother Landon and I—" "Stop talking." Landon interrupted with a dark face, his gaze fixed deeply on me. I smiled gently. How did you guys play back then?" Seeing I asked, Chloe pouted and continued in a delicate voice. "We went to the Louvre. Brother Landon explained the artworks to me, one by one. And the Eiffel Tower. We took photos hugging under the tower. He even promised to go with me every year, just the two of us." Her smile became brighter. Then she picked up a piece of tomato, looking at it with disdain. "Sister Naomi, this vegetable beef soup doesn't taste good with tomatoes." "Don't you think some things are superfluous when put in the wrong place?" After speaking, her gaze slowly moved to me, smiling meaningfully. "Enough." Suddenly, Landon clenched his fist and slammed the table. "Get out!" In his angry gaze, Chloe's smile froze instantly. "What?" A moment later, he stood up, pointed at the door, and looked at Chloe. "I said get out. Do you not understand human language?" Tears instantly welled up in Chloe's eyes. Red-eyed, she gritted her teeth, got up and slammed the door as she left. Bang! After the door closed, Landon immediately got up, picked up the men's perfume on the side, and threw it into the trash can. It was the birthday gift Chloe gave him. "Eat." A moment later, I spoke softly. Landon looked at me with a slightly guilty expression. "Naomi, she's always been willful like this. Don't be angry with her." "Is it good?" I didn't look up. He gave a soft, hesitating to speak. I continued asking nonchalantly, "Compared to Racine?" "Naomi, Chloe and I went to Paris after high school graduation," he explained urgently. "I didn't know you then." In 6 years, this was the first time Landon called Chloe by her full name in front of me. Should I be happy? But I wasn't happy at all. Should I be sad? Honestly, I was a little sad. For the 6th anniversary trip to Paris, I pestered him for a long time before he agreed. "Landon, I study fine arts. You know I've always wanted to see the Louvre." "What's so good about the Louvre? I don't understand that stuff." "What about the Eiffel Tower? Legend has it that lovers who embrace under the tower stay together for a lifetime. Come on, why believe these inexplicable legends? Boring. Back then, for every sentence I said, he ruined the mood. Seeing me angry and silent, he barely forced a smile to coax me. "All right, Naomi, I agree to go with you, okay?" He agreed nicely, but at the airport, he was still called away by Chloe's phone call. "Landon, I always thought you were just simply clueless about making girls happy." Only just now did I realize you actually know how. At this moment, I put down the bowl and quietly watched Landon opposite me. I tried hard to control my emotions, but grievances still surged and my nose soured. "I never asked much from you. Just a little bit of interest and patience would have been enough." "But I didn't expect that you didn't lack interest and patience. You just gave them all to someone else." As my voice fell, Landon frowned, panic appearing on his face. "No, Naomi, it's not like that." I pursed my lips, forcing a smile. "Then what is it?" He paused for a long time, his look becoming extremely earnest. "Chloe was already sick back then. She was in a bad mood and needed travel to relieve it. She's a patient. Our parents are so close, so I accompanied her to Paris." "Naomi, we didn't know each other then, so I didn't tell you. I was afraid you'd misunderstand." I chuckled, but a layer of sorrow spread in my heart. It was just a moment before returning to calm. My voice was cold with a hint of huskiness. "All right, it's late. Go to sleep." "Naomi, He hurriedly grabbed my hand, staring at me tightly. I smiled with relief, looking up to avoid his gaze. "It's okay. Sleep early. Tomorrow I have something very important to tell you." "Naomi!" As soon as I stood up, Landon suddenly hugged my waist from behind. He held me tight, as if to lock me firmly in his arms. How long has it been since this man hugged me like this? I couldn't remember. "Naomi, I was wrong. I really was wrong." "I can tell you've been angry with me recently, right?" He buried his head in my neck, his trembling voice coming through, warm breath on my ear. I clenched my hands hard, suppressing the turmoil in my heart, and said lightly, "I'm really not angry." After a moment of silence, Landon's voice became even more agitated. "No, I know I didn't do well. I should have kept a distance from other women. I promise I will never make you sad again. Forgive me, okay?" At this moment, an unspeakable soreness rolled turbulently in my heart. I moved my lips, but my throat felt blocked. "Okay, Naomi, don't be silent. I beg you." His low voice came again. Meanwhile, his phone rang. Ring, ring. He picked it up quickly and rejected it without looking. Ring, ring. The ringtone sounded again. This time, he looked at the phone for a long time. After answering, his hands holding me gradually loosened. "Naomi, I'll be back in a while." Hanging up, he grabbed the jacket on the sofa and walked hurriedly to the door. After a few steps, he turned back, looking at me deeply. "Wait for me." At this moment, looking at his face, the trace of emotion that just surged was like a firework fading in the night sky. After blooming, it fell weakly and scattered, turning into smoke and returning to silence in an instant. He didn't notice that I saw from the corner of my eye who was calling. It was Chloe. Bang. After the door closed, under the pale light, I looked at this small house where I lived with him for 6 years. Then, without a trace of nostalgia, I began packing my things. It took 6 years for 2 people to get here, but erasing all traces and leaving took only 1 hour. At 3 a.m., packing was done. I opened the bedside drawer and took out the painting titled Future. "I hope my future always has you." The words I said to Landon with a smile, arms around his neck the year of graduation, rang in my ears. I had thought when we got married, I would paint another one for us called Home. But we have no future, and there can be no home. I smiled lightly, tore the painting, and threw it into the trash can. Seeing Landon again was 5 days later. "Naomi, how long are you going to hide from me?" These days, I blocked all his contact methods. Unable to find me, he ran to the company. I had resigned long ago, so naturally I wasn't there. Until this day, having completed all study abroad procedures, I came to treat Ms. Zhao to dinner and bumped into him downstairs. He seemed to have slept poorly. Dark circles were heavy, stubble untrimmed. Looks like dinner has to be another day. Ms. Zhao walked up from behind, saw Landon, smiled knowingly. Naomi, you're going to Paris soon. Spend some quality time with your boyfriend. Landon's expression froze instantly, like a statue. I focused, looking at him before me. My soft voice was meticulously sincere. Landon Hayes, let's talk. I sat in the passenger seat. Beside me, Landon smoked one cigarette after another. Unknown how much time passed, in the deathly silence, he and I spoke almost simultaneously. Naomi, let's get married. Landon, let's break up. After the words fell, his face instantly turned white. My heart trembled slightly, but calm returned quickly. In 3 days, I'm going to the Paris College of Art for further studies. He spoke urgently. When did you decide? I took a deep breath, looking into his eyes. The night I came back from Paris. He looked slightly dazed, seemingly in disbelief. After a long while, he spoke softly, voice tinged with bitterness. So from that time, you decided to leave me? I smiled lightly, non-committal. Landon stared at my eyes, slightly red, like unwillingness or despair. Even his usually cold and arrogant voice became hoarse now. It doesn't matter. I can wait for you to come back. When you come back, we'll get married, okay? 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I can wait. His voice grew more agitated, grabbing my hand, corners of his eyes red with ink-like emotion. My lips trembled slightly, wanting to laugh, but unable to. After a long time, I finally said lightly, that ring wasn't actually lost. I took it off and threw it into the Seine. What? Landon was completely stunned, looking at me in disbelief. When I saw you wearing our couple's ring, holding someone else's hand, I only found it laughable. I chuckled, pulling my hand forcefully from his, laughing at my tolerance for you time and again over these 6 years, laughing that I still held unrealistic fantasies about you. Landon, I know these years you were also tired and troubled. From today on, I let you go and I let myself go. After the words fell, he paused for a long time, looking at me with sorrowful and lingering eyes. No, Naomi, it's my fault. I promise I will change. Give me one more chance, okay? Wherever you want to go, I'll go with you. Paris, right. I'll go with you to Paris, okay? His voice revealed boundless desolation and sadness, but I just smiled with relief and shook my head. For these 6 years, I have always followed your footsteps, never stopping to look at the scenery before me. I always wanted to go to Paris with you, but not until I went alone did I suddenly understand. Paris itself is beautiful, even without you. With that, I opened the car door, my tone devoid of emotion. Goodbye, Landon. After walking a few steps, I paused after all, turned back, and took one last look. Landon sat in the driver's seat, burying his head deep in his arms. His shoulders trembled incessantly, unsure if he was crying. At this moment, I suddenly remembered the last line of that song. From the tiger's mouth of loving you, I have escaped danger. A moment later, I smiled lightly. I took off the couple's ring he gave me later from my finger and tossed it casually into the air. Then, without looking back, I walked towards the future without him.